meeting of the board.
Yes.
So, okay. Any other new business to come to the board, please?
I'd like to make a motion to have the board attorney prepare ethics charges against Ms. Akiri to be presented to the board in order to be filed with the State Ethics Commission. I don't want to comment any further, however, than to say every board member has enough information regarding the concerns and issues, enough to vote.
I'm sorry, say that again, Robert?
I'm sorry?
You want to make a motion? I'm sorry?
Do you want me to read it again?
Yeah, I want to hear what, making a motion.
I just read it.
Okay, please.
Do you want me to read it again? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to have the board attorney prepare ethics charges against Ms. Akiri to be presented to the board in order to be filed with the State Ethics Commission. I don't want to say anything further except to say that every member, all 8 members, have enough information already to vote with respect to the issues and concerns.
Under what ethics code? There has to be a specific ethics code. You can't be vague on under what? Which particular, is it A, B, C, which one? Which ethics code? You're an attorney, so you should be specific.
You should know that this isn't my area of expertise. Francis?
Not a surprise.
So, if the motion passes, I can get guidance from the board members on those charges.
Okay. So this is just a first step kind of thing for you to draft something, and they'll be very specific if and when they're drafted. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I have a second on this motion? I'm sorry, Pamela?
So we don't know the clarity on what the ethics charges are. It's vague. So there is a state ethics code, and I can pull it up. He has to be specific on which one. Otherwise, on what are you voting? If you want me to bring it up, I can bring it up.
Please clarify.
So, I mean, Robert, is there a general basis for it? I mean, that could be further explored.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh. Is there a general basis that you would like us to explore? Like, as far as if you can't specify the particular subparagraphs of the code, is there particular types of concerns that you want us to explore?
Well, it's certainly multiple sections of the school ethics code. It would include supporting our administration, as well as information regarding our schools. We can start with that.
Well,
sure.
the motion was just to prepare them, not to file them. So I can I could take guidance if it goes forward.
Okay, thank you.
I
I'll
don't-
take a look at the
I don't
code
think
myself
this-
and go
I don't
through
think-
section by section.
Can I speak about this? I don't think this is a proper way to proceed here. The board attorney would be obligated to defend Mrs. Akiri. I don't think the board attorney should be preparing the charges. If you think there's an ethics violation, I think you should write it yourself. But I don't think this is a good use of taxpayers' money, and I think it's a conflict because the board attorney would be obligated to defend her.
Can you clarify that? I don't know the answer.
If the motion passes, if the motion passes, I would have the consent of a majority of the board to go forward in filing those charges, and I would be authorized to consult with those individuals for the basis of those charges and present them. I would not be obligated to represent Ms. Akiri if she's the subject of the charges, and that would be also if the allegations is that she's not acting in her role as a board member. However, that is something that can be explored, and Ms. Akiri can seek her own counsel or special counsel and request that the board also cover her fees.
So we're going to have the board attorney being paid to prepare charges, and we're going to have the board paid to defend these charges?
You would only defend them pay to defend them if she's found to have engaged in conduct within her role as a board member.
So I have the New Jersey Code of Ethics in front of me. It's 18A:12-24.1. And it clearly lists, and I can read them out for you. So I think when you have to file an ethics charge, the state of New Jersey specifically says on that form that no frivolous charges can be filed, okay? And there is A, it says, I'll uphold and enforce all laws, rules, and regulations of the State Board of Education and court orders pertaining to schools. Desired changes shall be brought about only through legal and ethical procedures. That's State's Code A. B, I will make decisions in terms of educational welfare of children and will seek to develop and maintain public schools that meet the individual needs of all children, regardless of their ability, race, creed, sex, or social standing. C, I'll confine my board action to policy making, planning, and appraisal, and I will help to frame policies and plans only after the board has consulted those who will be affected by them.
That would be one.
D, I will carry out my responsibility not to administer the schools, but together with my fellow board members to see that they are well run.
That would
E,
be one.
I will recognize, maybe you should look it up on your own phone. Let me finish reading. I will recognize that authority rests with the Board of Education and will make no personal promises nor take any private action that may compromise the board.
That
There's
could be
F,
one.
G, H, I, and J. And New Jersey State Ethics Commission specifically asks for evidence, not just at the whims and fancies of a board member, to not even quote a specific one and say, I would like to move a motion.
I just named a few. When you quoted it, and I also
You need to provide
previously
evidence.
mentioned-
If you have, I think you should maybe do
Not
some
right
due
now, I
diligence,
don't.
go
Not
to the
at this
form.
point
No,
in
let me
time.
finish,
I
let me
don't.
finish,
Not
Mike.
at
If
this
he's
point.
making,
Robert,
if
let
he's
her finish.
making,
Let her finish.
if he's making a serious charge, that an ethics charge has to be filed, he needs to come prepared. He needs to look at the form. The form asks for evidence. The form asks for notarization that no frivolous charges are filed. If without all that due diligence, you cannot come to a public meeting and just say, I want to pay from the taxpayers' dollars to file these charges.
I understand what you're
And
saying.
especially an attorney, and this is something that I had not wanted to speak at a public board meeting, the same attorney firm has a conflict of interest because Dr. Varley forwarded them a meeting from January 6th about me making an ambiguous statement on why are we appointing or awarding this contract, and the attorney's firm spent
This is
money.
not germane to the motion. What's germane is
No,
whether or
germane
not
to the motion,
this
but I'm
is going
saying,
to
how
pass.
can this attorney be charged, the same board attorney who has a conflict of interest in saying I should not vote on any future contracts for them, be tasked with researching and filing charges? I disagree with that.
Okay.
And that's not ethical. So if you want to open up yourself to more ethical charges and the attorney's firm to the bar, fine, go ahead.
Thank
I
you.
think whichever the board member wants this, need to do the due diligence, needs to do the homework, look at the ethics code, look at the form, provide the evidence, and then maybe ask, or maybe file it himself. Why should the taxpayers be paying for it? And especially from a firm which has already shown that they have a conflict of interest.
Okay. That was a second.
This is very bad. I'd like to just knock it off. Can we just adjourn and just come back next time? We'll talk about this. This is just very bad. I don't want board members filing ethics charges against each other. Come on, knock it off. It's just not right. Yes, go ahead. Yes. Sure.
Dr. Forger, I absolutely agree that we do not want to do ethics charges, which is why it is now May, the end of May, almost June, and this is the first time we are talking about it. But we have talked about this, that the board is liable as a whole, right? We have to protect our employees. That is one of the code of ethics. And when that is violated, Unfortunately, the entire board is not doing their job. That includes me, right? I am held liable if I don't do my job. And part of my job is to protect our employees from public scrutiny, right? They ethically should be able to get a job once they leave here because they are not bashed in public, right? We are public officials. We can be bashed and yelled at, but that is not their job to be yelled at and flashed across social media, across public forums, in public documents. That is a problem, and that's a problem for the entire board, including you, Dr. Forger. We could be in trouble if we do not file ethics charges and say that we do not find this acceptable. So I agree, I don't want to do this, and it stinks. It stinks that we had to get here. It stinks that we already had to send out a memo telling people not to do this, and they still went and did it. I am frustrated too.
I think we need a cooling off period here. Can we consider this when we're going to meet again, and we're going to meet in June? Let's just all kind of cool off a little bit and talk about it in June. It's late.
Okay. We have a motion and we have a second. Julie, please go over the roll call.
Mrs. Akiri?
No.
Mr. Cianculli?
Yes.
Dr. Forger?
No.
Mr. Hyman?
Yes.
Mrs. Penna?
Yes.
Mrs. Stanley? Mr. D'Aquila?
I don't take this very lightly, having personally gone through it. This is not where I thought we would be in May. I have to protect the interests of the board and the administration. I will be voting yes, but I'm very disappointed.
Motion passes.
No other new business. It's adjourned.